Hey there. Today we're going to look at intervals in a little different way, and we're going to talk about white note intervals, which are simply intervals that have no accidentals. The idea here is if you can figure out the patterns of white note intervals, when you come across an interval that has accidentals, you can start with a white note interval and then apply the accidentals and figure out what that interval is. I'll explain that later. So for right now, first, here's a C major scale. C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Remember, all white notes, no accidentals, white keys on the piano. I have made every second that's possible. C to D, D to E, E to F, F to G, G, A, B, and B, C. So these are all the possible seconds using only white notes. So this one, you can figure this all out on your own, but that's a major second. That's a major second. That's a minor second. That's a major second. That's a major second. That's a major second. And that's a minor second. Now, what do you notice? Do you notice that most of them are major seconds? Only these two are minor seconds. So really, you don't need to memorize 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 different intervals. You just have to remember that E to F and B to C are minor seconds, which, if you remember back to the early days, talking about the keyboard, those are the two places where two white keys make a half step. Okay? So for all of the seconds, they are all major except for E to F and B to C. Got the idea? I know, this is something you just sort of have to memorize, but sometimes we have to do that in life. Here are all of the white note thirds. And I'll just give them to you. We have major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, that's an M, and minor. So what can you figure from this? Well, I mean, there's 3 majors and 4 minors. The major ones are C, F, and G. Those thirds, those pitches are major thirds if you build on top of there. So maybe you just remember C, F, G, and if you have a third based on one of those notes, you know you're starting with a major third. Or whatever way works for you. Again, you need to figure out what works best for you. Fourths, pretty straightforward. You're going to like this. Perfect, 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 perfect. They are all perfect except for one. B to D. No, F to B. Which is what kind of fourth? Can you figure that out? Number of half steps? That is bigger than a perfect fourth. So does that mean it's major? No. That means it's augmented. An augmented fourth. So that's really easy. All you have to do is, if it's a fourth other than F to B, it's going to be a perfect fourth that you start with. Okay? Now fifths, equally easy. Perfect, 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 not perfect. That is a diminished fifth. So all of the fifths are perfect except for the diminished fifth. Now, let's talk about this for a second. See if I can do this. Okay, it's not bad. Augmented fourth. or diminished fifth. It sounds like this. Or sounds kind of crunchy or dissonant, I suppose. Well, this is a special kind of interval. If we go from B to C sharp, that's a whole step, right? Then from C sharp, what's up a whole step from C sharp? 2 half steps. D sharp, that's another whole step. What's up a whole step from D sharp? Well, half step is E, whole step is going to be F. So B to F, it's 3 whole steps. And tell you what, F to B is 3 whole steps. So we call this a tritone. Tritone. Augmented fourth or diminished fifth. It's got a very, very noticeable, very recognizable sound. So all of fourths are perfect and all fifths are perfect except for the ones that include B and F. Here we have F and B. Here we have B and F. Okay, well that should be pretty easy to remember, I think. Now, sixths gets a little more, well, let's just see what we have here. This is a major sixth. This is a major sixth. This is a minor sixth. That's a M, sorry. Major, major, minor, minor. So we have 4 majors, 3 minors. I'm not sure. How could we remember this? Well, hey, remember back with thirds? What were the 3 thirds that were major thirds? Do you remember that? They were the ones with C, F, and G as the bottom note. Okay? Well, look what's happening here. These are all major, except for these 3 minors. What are the top notes? C, F, G. What? Yeah, I know. It's almost like thirds and sixths are related. So anyway, those are the white note sixths. And finally, sevenths. Major, minor, minor, major, minor, minor, minor. They are all minor sevenths except for C to B and F to E. Okay. Again, you figure out some way to remember this. Now you say, so what's the point? What if we have this interval? What is that interval? Well, first of all, we know it's a sixth because G, A, B, C, D, E, that's a sixth. This is what you do. Step 1, take away the accidental. We now have a white note interval, G to E. And if you remember, or just look right here, G to E is a major sixth. So as written like that without the accidental, we have a major sixth. Now, we add that accidental, we have our E, and we have our G, and we lowered our bottom note. Did that make the interval bigger or smaller? We had G to E, now we have G flat to E. Right, it made it 1 bigger. So if you take a major interval and you make it bigger, it becomes what? augmented. Okay? That's how you use white note intervals. Now you could have just said G flat to E, let's count the half steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and do like that. But sometimes this might be the easier, quicker way. Again, it's good to have more than one way to do it. What if we have, here's a tricky one. A third with F sharp and A sharp. Okay. Step 1, take away the accidentals. F to A. What kind of third is that? Oh, F to A, that's a major third. Right over here. Well, check it out. If it's a major third and you sharp both of them, if you do the same thing to both notes, it's still a major third. It's like algebra, you know. If you do the same thing to both sides, right. I know, sorry, I didn't mean to bring up algebra. Let's do one more. What if we have, let's do this. We have an A flat to a D sharp. Okay, I'm being deliberately mean, but I'm okay with that. Step 1, plain old A up to plain old D. It's a fourth. What kind of fourth? Well, it's not F to B, so it's a perfect fourth. All right. Now, there's our perfect fourth. Let's just do one accidental at a time. If we have our perfect fourth and we raise the top note, does that make the interval larger or smaller? Larger. So perfect, and you make it larger, it becomes augmented. Remember, no major or minor dealing with perfects. So now we have an augmented fourth. We have an augmented fourth, and we lower the bottom note. Does that make it larger or smaller? That makes it larger again. So we had an augmented fourth, and then we made it one bigger. You're going to love this. A double augmented fourth. Yeah, I don't know if you'll ever see that in nature, but I want you to understand the process is the same no matter what sort of yucky accidentals you get. Okay? So step 1, figure out the white keys, the white note interval. Step 2, apply the accidentals, and you've got your interval. All right? Have a great day.